between what we are doing here in our Google Meet and what is seen on the YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel that is presently showing out right now. This is going to be probably a 45 second delay, I'm guessing, between what we're talking here and what is seen in the public. So right now we are just waiting until that shows up to make sure that everything's working properly. And then we'll get rolling here as soon as that is verified. Hey, there it is. No, that's you.
Give it a second. It takes about 45 seconds from when I turn it on to you'll be good.
I don't understand why it's showing up there though.
Oh, that's so you guys know that it's working. That's fine. You're good.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Swab, we are set. We're ready to roll.
Great. Thank you very much. So I'd like to call to order the Bradford Exempted Village Board of Education June 8th regular meeting. And if we could stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And roll call, please.
Dr. Swab.
Here.
Mrs. Brewer. Here. Pastor Reindl.
Here.
Mr. Biesecker.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening to our next virtual meeting. And the virtual meetings are during the state of emergency as recognized on our April 20th, 2020 board meeting. Our agenda tonight is very robust, so I won't go through each detail, but there are many items for which we'll need to review and discuss. And next item we have is we need to ratify the prior actions at our last meeting when the public connection was lost during the virtual meeting on May 11th, 2020. And do I have a motion to ratify that?
I so move.
And a second, please.
Second.
Any discussion or questions regarding the necessity of this? Hearing none, a roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer. Yes. Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Next item is adopting our current agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda that is printed before us?
There are a couple of notations that I caught this evening that I think we should probably correct. On page 4, item 21, in the center of that resolution, it says physical agent. That should be fiscal.
Okay.
And the other item is on page 6 at the bottom. The contract with Westward is for only 1 year, not 3. So it should go to June 30th, 2021.
Which one was it, Colonel?
It's item number 7 at the bottom. It should go from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Gotcha. And I'll note those when we get to those items. So item 7, it's a 1-year contract, and the other is just a typo, fiscal. I'll make note of those as we go through that. Do we have any other additions or deletions to the written agenda? Hearing none, motion for approve as noted.
I'll second.
Thank you. A roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Next item is approval of our minutes. We have a copy of the May 11th, 2020 regular meeting and the May 28th, 2020 special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thanks, Maria.
I'll second.
Thank you. And any discussion or questions regarding the minutes? Hearing none, roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is our administrative reports, and I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Hurst, Superintendent.
Thank you very much. Just to let you know, there's a couple things going on here that I wanted to give some updates for. First of all, our vestibule project is started. I say started. We met this morning and we with the architects and the general contractors to outline the schedule and everything that goes along with it. We are going to have to shut down basically the 3 sets of doors all summer, most likely. They will actually be here tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, to put up the fencing and block off those areas. So possibly Wednesday or Thursday were the 2 dates. They said they were going to come in and start moving equipment in and start tearing up the concrete where the vestibule walls will go, and hopefully get rolling on this. The 3 places, obviously, back by the board office, our door back there, the 3 gymnasium doors, or I'm sorry, 4 gymnasium doors, and then the 2 up front. The expected deadline, August 15th, is the hardcore deadline that we've discussed all the way through, and they said that would be absolutely no problem. So we will have to direct visitors and teachers and anybody else coming into the building to different doors. But we're excited about the project. Number one, we've got a grant that is available through the Bureau of Workers' Comp to pay for a good portion of this. And then, of course, we hope that the remainder of it will be paid for through the savings and utility costs that we'll have with this project. And the obvious reason for starting all this was safety concerns. So hopefully it all goes together and we'll stay on track and have everything done before we even have anybody come through the doors for next fall. Second piece, we had talked about, I had a question today from one of the board members concerning our handbooks and whether we needed to have a COVID piece in there. And the conversation we had basically said, let's go ahead and just leave that out for now. And we will put different pieces in and an addendum, if you will, for those handbooks that would need to have something going in there to explain what COVID's going on. We'll have something that'll go out to parents and something to go out to students, obviously. So that'll take care of that piece rather than writing something in a handbook that'll be long lasting. So hopefully that takes care of that. Second question I had today, and going back to COVID before I get to that part, we do have a couple committees going together to outline what our school is going to look like next fall and what that restart is going to look like as we enter school next year. Governor DeWine has already said that we want to have kids back into school. That's our mission as well. However, we want to do it in a safe and courteous manner. So we're putting together different ideas on what that's going to look like. But I wanted to thank our teacher teams for putting together the time to give advice on this. I know it's going to change 15 million times between now and August. But we are working towards different plans that we will be able to use in the fall. And then the second question that was on the agenda here is our gym floor refinishing. Skip is finding quotations for what that takes. He should have those tomorrow, but he talked to the fellow that usually does them. He said, yes, he can get the big gym in this summer yet and the stage in over the winter break. That's the goal for this year. We just did the small gym last year, so I don't think we'll have to do the floor in there. But obviously, we'll try to get those other two pieces done this year. So I think that wraps up my portion, unless anybody has questions. Okay.
Any questions? None. Hearing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Hurst. Next is Mrs. Levy for our elementary principal report.
We tried to make up a slideshow, so I don't know if Joe was going to pull that up or not for us. So we'll wait on that. We finished the school year up, I felt, very successfully for where we were at in the COVID pandemic. So I have some pictures, once we're able to pull that up there, of the teachers. We set up out in the parking lot, and the teachers sat in their cars and passed everything out. So all the teachers were able to come in. So like you see there, those are just pictures of the teachers that were passing the things out. Parents came in, dropped off the Chromebooks, and picked up their materials that their students had left in the classroom, as well as there were a lot of goodies that the teachers had put together for their kids for the summer. So it was nice for the kids if they were able to come with their parents to see them. Okay, I'm ready for the next one, Joe. Since we didn't have a kindergarten graduation, we made a Bradford Kindergarten Graduate Lives Here sign. They haven't been passed out yet, but they'll be receiving those this week. I think on Wednesday, they're going to start passing those out to the kids and putting them in their yards. So the kindergarten teachers will be around with those signs that you can see there. Our award ceremony is available on the webpage. Since we weren't able to do the awards in the gym, it was taped, and it's now available to see the different students that are received awards, and I thought it went fairly well considering everything. And I put up our 2 Charlie Brown winners for the K through 2, beginning garden through 2. It was Harper Moore, and then Brendan Hansen was our 3 through 5 winner. All right, I think that does it for the elementary, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Triplett.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment and talk about graduation and how well it went given the circumstances. I can tell you the students and parents were great to work with and appreciated everything we were able to do. It was very special to see the emotions between the students and the parents, as typically you wouldn't see something like that because the parents were handing them the diploma. That's something that you don't typically see, and it was great to see. There's a lot of people to thank. Skip and his crew, for setting everything up, Mrs. Ray and Mrs. Gade for everything they did. I also like to thank Mrs. Fair for coordinating everything, along with Mrs. Moore for putting together the graduation video. And the biggest one here is, we couldn't have done this without Pastor Dan and Daryl Swank. These two were amazing as they were able to film everything, provide the sound. They had all this equipment out there and set up 3 or 4 different cameras to capture our seniors' last moments with us here at Bradford. So a big thanks to them and to everyone involved in graduation. I don't think we could have asked for it to go any better than what it did. And each graduate, they'll be receiving a copy of the graduation on a flash drive that I just received today. So Mr. Daugherty and myself, we hope to deliver those by the end of the week. And it's also posted on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. But that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Triplett? Thanks, Matt. Mr. Daugherty, do you have anything?
Yeah. So earlier this spring, our contract with School Point, which is the hosting, our website hosting site, or the ones that do our website, was up. So we had a committee that took a look at a bunch of other website companies, and we got some quotes, and we decided to stick with School Point. When we renew our contract, one of the things that we get is a new update to our website. So we're going to be spending the rest of this month kind of going through. They have probably over a dozen templates that we can choose from to update our website. And there are 2 schools, and those are up there, that actually use the same company that we are, that have a little bit more of an updated look. So Mr. Hurst, if you click Van Werts, see if this works. So if you look at the Van Werts, they've got the scrolling pictures at the top. And then if you scroll down, they have a COVID thing, and then their news and announcements. Our news and announcements are just kind of like line items. This would actually put them in boxes, with the hopes that this might be something that people coming to our website might be more likely to click on. And if you scroll down some more, then we've got the Facebook, Twitter, and then over on the left-hand side, you have the events, and then scroll down just a little bit more. The Find It Fast, scroll up a little bit. The Find It Facts boxes right there were something that a lot of the School Point websites had. Sandy and I did a kind of a demo type of virtual meeting with School Point, and these Find It Fast boxes were on a lot of their websites, and we really like these. So this would be we can put it anywhere on the website, but it would be an opportunity for if they wanted to go to the menus or the main hit items on our website, athletic calendars, or maybe guidance counselor, that would be pretty quickly able for the people to be able to find it. So that's something that we definitely are looking for. And if you want to go to the other website, so this is Ross Local Schools, and theirs is very similar. They have their quick links, which was kind of like the Find It Fast things at the top. So if you scroll down just a little bit, and those actually scroll over. So this would be another option that we could do for those items that our parents and students need to be able to find pretty quickly. And then they have the latest news. Their calendar actually switches to their Twitter feed, which is a little bit different than what ours does. So if you click on the Twitter box right there at the top next to calendar, it goes over to their Twitter feed. And then they have their news, and their news kind of looks more like what ours is instead of the boxes that were in the other website. And then down below, they've just got some their YouTube page and then their local information. So as we do this, if you have any suggestions, something that you would like to see on the website, email me, and we're going to put together a committee. Hopefully within the next week or two, we'll have a template so we can start the school year with a new updated, fresher website. With this update, it will allow us to do a little bit more than what we could do under the old website. The software behind the scenes has changed, and it makes it a little bit more updated, which will make it easier for me to make changes onto the website. So does anybody have any questions?
Doesn't look like it, Bob. Thank you very much. Next is Ms. Shell, Athletic Director and Transportation Director's report.
Hi. So just a couple of things on my end. Last week, as most of you know, we opened back up our athletic facilities, and so far that's been pretty successful. We received our 3 thermometers in today, which will kind of streamline the process and make it easier for coaches who are overlapping times to get everybody checked in. And I think so far we've had pretty good numbers for turnouts. After this week, about 80% of our programs will have started their open gyms and their opening processes back up. So it's been an adventure, but I think we're finally starting to get back to normal a little bit. And that's all I have.
Thanks. Any questions? Anyone? Thank you very much. Next is Mrs. Brewer. Do you have an update from the Upper Valley CCC?
I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you very much. Next is Mrs. Serber. Do you have any report from the treasurer?
Carla. Before Carla goes, Louis was asking about the boxes on the first website. Bob, do you know if those can be controlled, those quick link boxes, if we can put 5 of those in compared to 8 of them? Does it matter?
I haven't really explored those boxes. I know with some of the websites, depending on the template, there may be a limit on how many we can have, but that's something that we can definitely discuss, and we can swap them out. One of the things that we're going to take a look at is the Google Analytics to find out which parts of the website more people go to, so we can definitely try to hit those areas up. But that is something I can find out. I'm not sure off the top of my hand. It may be dependent on the template. It may be as many as we can fit in the website. I don't know.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about a few things tonight. Since last we talked, we had the filing of the 5-year forecast, which was very interesting this year because of the dynamics going on at the state. And I've consciously chosen not to really bring a lot of those figures. It had about a $2.5 million impact from the statement that I filed in November, predominantly because of all the changes coming through from the state and how that's going to impact all our revenues coming in. As I watch this, we talked last time that we had a pretty significant hit for the last 3 pays from the state of Ohio, and we still don't know what's going to happen in the next year in our 2020-2021 year. So I'm going to keep you posted as this evolves. I hope it becomes more of a positive rather than a negative, but we're working through this and trying to figure out how best to handle some of these situations that we're dealing with. Did want to let you know, you'll see on the board agenda tonight that we had a 7.5% increase on our health insurance, which is the least amount of increase we've had for the last couple of years. I expect that to be a trend that's going to rise just with the cost of healthcare and what's been going on. So once again, we'll monitor that. That will become effective in January of this next year, since we are now on a calendar basis with our 2 plans that we have. Also, this time of year, if you notice in my section of the report, there are many paybacks of advances. And this is the time of year when we're settled down. We know what we've spent in our grants and spent in other areas. The one thing that we deal with is with the Washington, D.C. trip, because we front end pay that and give the parents some time to actually pay those costs a little bit longer than what the company, what we're obligated to pay the company, then we actually borrow money from the general fund. So I wanted to make it clear that you understood that that is no cost to the taxpayers or the general fund. It's just a timing difference, and that allows our parents to work through some of their finances and prepare for the trip. A little different this year because of the cancellation of the trip. We're going to hold some additional money that the parents have allowed us to, so they can prepare for their next trip. So as you have questions on that, please feel free to give me a call. The advances on the grants are very typical because the state of Ohio actually requires us to pay the money out for our various needs before we can ask for the money back from them. So this is a way of operation that we have to do, and just want to let you know that's very typical work, but I usually try to do the bulk of it this time of year. Last thing that I want to let you know, we're instituting a new 457 plan. You voted on that a few months ago, and that'll be a new fringe benefit for the employees and available to them through Ohio Deferred Comp. And with that, I'd like to conclude my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Serber at this point? There may be some as we go through the agenda items. Next is our public participation section of our meeting, and I received no request for public participation tonight. Next, we begin the multiple items which we're going to approve this evening. I'll help try to navigate that for us and kind of summarize it so we can move through these. Next item is the financial reports from the treasurer. The superintendent recommends approval of all the various items. The financial journal, the check register. We have the now and then certifications of bills from the Bradford FFA, Northwestern Ohio Securities, Ohio Department of Commerce, Rapid Printing, and Ohio Auditor of State. Approving a permanent appropriation for a necessary amendment. Next item is approving the temporary appropriations. And next item 6 is approving transfers and advances for the month. And transfers only is a transfer from the general fund 001 to the Washington, D.C. trip 300-9002. advances, which is temporary loans for operations for special revenue fund to repay advances from the Washington, D.C. trip 300-9002 and to repay advance from the athletic fund 300-9500. Next item is advances, which is a temporary loan for operations, reimbursable federal grant monies to repay advances from Striving Readers Grant 599-9119, Striving Readers Grant 599-9120, Title 2A 599-920, and Title I 572-9920, and to repay advances from Ohio Climate Grant 499-9819, and to repay Title 6B Restoration Grant 587-9119, and Title 4 Grant 599-9819. Item 7 is recommending that for purchase order number 2119-775 made to Daytronics in the amount of $25,000 for the purchase of the basketball scoreboard, and the second purchase order number 219774 to Joseph Schulte for installation of the board for $3,000. These are paid by various contributors within the district to be recharged to General Fund 001 as a special cost center 9,500. Since it will be received over 5 years period of time, this will allow segregating and tracking of the balance for the accounts receivable purposes. Sorry. Item 8 is recommend for approval of the renewed premium for 2021, $33,527 for the fleet liability property insurance program. Then accepting donations for benches from the Bradford Athletic Boosters, $300 toward a bench for Marietta Gubo, from Dallas Weldy, DBA Dallas Weldy Rentals for $250 toward a bench, and from the Community Festival Association, $300 toward a bench. Accepting a donation from the Bradford Athletic Boosters of $1,310 for the purchase of weightlifting suits. And then from the senior class, 2 donations, $200 to Pastor Dan for his equipment and personal time in recording the ceremony for commencement, and $150 to the powerlifting team, with the remaining balance to go toward new graphics to be placed in the hallway in the main entrance. Scholarship donations from the Bradford Fire and Rescue, $500 for scholarships, Covington Savings and Loan, $500, and Bradford Athletic Boosters from Jill Reck and Janice Joey for $500. Also recommending the treasurer being authorized to negotiate contract for the postal meter lease, approving a 3-year term treasurer's bond in the amount of $533, approving the elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund grant of $97,994.64, and then approving participation in the comprehensive literacy state development subgrant to act as the fiscal agent for collecting with Bradford, Milton Union, Northridge, and that'll be over a 4-year period. Approving the student accidental insurance from Arthur Gallagher, Zevitz, and Redfield, as well as Southwestern Ohio EPC, July 1st, 2020 to July 1st, 2021, for premiums of $2,632 and $708. Do I have a motion to approve those recommendations?
Move a motion.
Thank you. And a second? Thank you, Louis. Any discussion or questions over those several items we have on to approve?
I would like to throw in one clarification. On number 7, talking about the scoreboard, that is something we're just moving over to a different fund right now. It is completely paid for through the donations of area businesses and individuals. However, we needed to do this so we could stretch out the payments. So if they were going to give us $1,000 a year for a period of years, it would work out as opposed to all of it up front. So it helped us, but just to let you know, it was all donated materials. It's not something we're using school money to purchase.
Thanks, Joe, for the clarification. Any other questions or discussion over those items? Hearing none, then roll call for approval, please.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Next is we have no old business this evening, but we do have new business. And the superintendent recommends approval of the following items. Number one is employment resignations. We have multiple supplemental contracts for year 2021. Those are all there for your review. Item B is 1-year contract classified for Glenn Eder, bus driver. C is resignation of Jerry Basil as substitute bus driver effective May 22, 2020. And then 2 tuition reimbursement approvals, 1 for Nicole Hackett and 1 for Janet Burning. Next are several contracts. Approving contract with the Council of Rural Services for services of CORS and ACES in the amount of $40 per day per student for year 2021. Contract with Southwestern Ohio Educational Purchasing Council for liability, fleet, and property insurance for 2021 at $33,527, which is increased from the prior year. Next is Southwest Ohio Educational Purchasing Council renewal for the employee health insurance plan for 2021, which is also a 7.5% increase. Approving Westward LLC for obtaining the reimbursement of Medicaid eligible expenses incurred, and that's from July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021 for an annual fee of $2,700. Item 8 continues contracts, and it's a contract with Darke County ESC for the listed services in the amount of $304,019.14 for the fiscal year 2021 for program coordinator, adaptive PE, speech psychology services, clerical, LPDC, sub-coordinator, gifted, member fee, and curriculum services contract. Next item is the One Call Now renewal for $776.25 for 2021 through 7/25/2021. Approving or renewing Public School Works from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 for $350. 3-year contract with School Point for servicing our district website for $27.50 per year. Approving Renaissance for accelerated products in the amount of $13,746 with accompanying agreement to take payment from Title 4A, and that's for $5,136.66 for 2019 to 2020 and $8,609.94 for 2020 to 2021. Approving the Bradford Public Library budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. And approving donations from the district to healthcare facilities, personal protective equipment from the athletic training room to Upper Valley Medical Center, and 2 boxes of gloves from Bradford Exempted Village School District to Wayne Healthcare. And then approving a stipend of $250 per bus to wash, clean, and wax the buses. Approving moving Ann Seifering to a master's column and Nicole Hackett to Master's Plus. Approving school fees for 2020-2021, listed on most of page 8. Item 20 is approving the handbooks for 2020-2021 for teacher, substitute teacher, student elementary, student junior high, and high school. Item 21 is approving the following teachers to receive $100 from the book study Read, Talk, Write by Laura Robb, taking out of the Striving Teachers PD Fund, the several teachers listed. Item 22 is to change Robert Daugherty's title and contract to Assistant Principal / Curriculum Coordinator. Item 23 is approving the personal leave and sick leave for all certified staff per the master agreement and all other staff in accordance with the same rules. Item 24 is to give authority to the treasurer and the superintendent to allow additional expenditures in the vestibule project up to $5,000. And then whereas the board posted the above positions and no employee meeting all the board's qualifications applied, offered, or accepted the positions, and they were advertised to licensed individuals not employed by the district, no people meeting all the criteria applied, offered, or accepted the position. Therefore, be resolved the above non-licensed individuals be employed as noted. Do we have a motion to approve the items presented?
So moved.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thanks, Maria. Any discussion or questions over those items?
Couple clarifications if anybody's asking or wondering. Our donations of PPE was done clear back in March when we talked to area hospitals to help with the COVID crisis. Some of these materials will return to our school. Some of it is donated and will never return, but it was something worthy, I thought, of the current position. I have job descriptions for number 16 for the stipend to clean, wash, and wax the buses. If you see our buses here in the parking lot, I know we don't have a lot of them, but I think a good waxing and cleaning would do them a real good. It would do well for the buses and hopefully prolong their life. And then the third thing I wanted to describe was our fees. Everything there that you see on the fees is a return fee from previous years. No new increases except for the environmental science class. That's a brand new class for us. So we're asking for a $25 fee for that one. We actually discussed a number of different fees and increasing some of those, but during this COVID crisis and knowing that our community, a lot of people are searching for financial answers at this point, we didn't think it was prudent to increase fees this year. So basically we try to keep everything the same and then try to be responsible to our community. And then next year we'll reevaluate, and there's a possibility of changing those fees for next school year, but we certainly didn't want to increase anything for this year. That being said, that's all I had for clarification, unless anybody else has questions.
Any members with other questions or clarifications? Hearing none, then roll call for approval.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Reindl.
Next item is a motion to enter executive session for item G1 on your agenda. We have a motion for executive session. Louis, thank you very much. And a second?
I second. Pastor Louis made the motion.
Thanks, Maria. Roll call for executive session.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Swab,
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer, Pastor Reindl.
Enter executive session at 7:10, and there is no anticipated board action to occur after the executive session.